The message arrived at 3 a.m. Earth Standard Time. In the dim light of the Global Defense Command Center, the night shift workers watched as their screens lit up with an urgent transmission from humanity's farthest colony. This is Proxima B Colony. We are under attack. Unknown ships have entered our system. They've already taken 3 other systems. We need immediate help. The voice crackled through the speakers, filled with static and fear. The transmission ended with a burst of noise, leaving the command center in silence. 10 minutes later, Admiral James Thompson stood in front of the main display screen, his gray uniform neat despite the late hour. His weathered face showed no emotion as he watched the replay of the message for the 3rd time. "How long until they reach the colony?" he asked. 6 hours, sir," replied the young officer at the communication station. "The alien fleet is moving fast." Thompson nodded slowly. For 15 years, humanity had kept its greatest secret. While they appeared to be peaceful traders and colonists to the rest of the galaxy, they had built the largest and most advanced fleet in known space. Today, that secret would end. "Send the activation codes," Thompson ordered. "Wake up the fleet." Deep beneath the surface of Mars, giant doors slid open in hidden shipyards. On Europa, ice sheets parted to reveal gleaming warships. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden strength stirred to life. The flagship, UES Thunderchild, rose from its underwater base in Earth's Pacific Ocean. Water cascaded from its dark hull as the massive ship took to the sky. At 2 kilometers long, it carried enough firepower to level a continent. Its hull was covered in plates made from materials that no other race had discovered yet. In orbit, more ships appeared. Cruisers, destroyers, and carriers moved into formation. Each one carried weapons that the rest of the galaxy thought were impossible to build. The fleet had trained for years in secret, running endless drills and simulations for this very day. "Fleet status?" Thompson asked as he walked onto the Thunderchild's bridge. The command center was a marvel of human engineering, with holographic displays showing the positions of every ship and crew member. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Captain Robert Miller answered from his station. "Ghost protocol is active. No one outside our system can see us." Thompson looked at the main screen. It showed the fleet, 500 ships of war, each one built with technology that humanity had kept hidden from the galaxy. The aliens who attacked their colony thought they were striking a helpless target. They had no idea what was coming. "Send the message to all ships," Thompson ordered. "We launch in 10 minutes." Throughout the fleet, crews moved to their stations. Engineers powered up engines that could bend space. Weapons officers checked systems that could tear apart enemy ships from the inside out. In the medical bays, doctors prepared for casualties they hoped they wouldn't have. "Sir," a young lieutenant called out, "we're getting more data from the colony. The enemy, they're calling themselves the Swarm. They've destroyed every civilization they've met so far." Thompson's face hardened. "Not this time," he said. "Not humanity." The final minutes ticked by. In space, the massive fleet moved into jump formation. Each ship's computer linked with the others, creating a network more powerful than most planetary systems. "All ships report ready for jump, sir," Miller announced. Thompson stood in the center of his bridge. Around him, the best-trained crew in human space waited for his order. Years of preparation had led to this moment. The galaxy thought humanity was weak, peaceful, and defenseless. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "Fleet command to all ships," Thompson said, his voice calm and clear. "Execute jump sequence. Let's show them what humanity can do." 500 ships, carrying the combined might of Earth's hidden power, vanished into hyperspace. The greatest fleet humanity had ever built was on its way to war, and the enemy would never know what hit them. The fleet moved through hyperspace like a school of silver fish. Captain Robert Miller stood at the main viewport of the UES Thunderchild, watching the strange colors of faster-than-light travel swirl around the ships. Even after 10 years of commanding this vessel, the sight still amazed him. "Status report," he called out, turning back to face the bridge crew. "All systems normal, sir," replied Officer Tom Wilson from the engineering station. "The new stealth drives are working perfectly. We're completely invisible to enemy sensors." Miller nodded, remembering the day humans first met aliens. It was 15 years ago, when a trader ship from the outer worlds had visited Earth. The aliens had seemed friendly enough, but their ships carried heavy weapons. That day, Earth's leaders made a choice: smile, trade, and secretly prepare for war. "Sir," called Lisa Walker from her intelligence station, "you should see this." On the main screen, images from the colony attacks appeared. The swarm's ships were like nothing they'd seen before, organic-looking vessels that moved like insects. They attacked in groups, overwhelming their targets with sheer numbers. "They've never faced a real fleet," Lisa explained, pointing to battle data. "Every civilization they've attacked was peaceful, with only a few defensive ships." Miller felt a grim smile form on his face. The swarm was in for a surprise. In the ship's massive training room, crews ran their final drills. The room could create perfect holographic simulations of any battle scenario. Right now, it showed a swarm attack pattern based on the colony data. "Keep that formation tight." Weapons Chief Mark Davis shouted to his gunners. "Remember, these aliens fight like insects. They expect us to run. Show them what happens when we don't." The crew members moved with practiced skill, their weapons finding targets with deadly accuracy. Even in practice, they hit their marks 99% of the time. Back on the bridge, Miller received a call from engineering. "Captain, you need to see this," the chief engineer said. "It's about the new quantum torpedoes." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Jane Cooper showed Miller the latest weapon humanity had developed. The torpedoes looked simple, but inside they carried technology that could rip apart the fabric of space itself. "We've never used these in real combat," Cooper said, patting one of the weapons. "But the simulations show they'll tear right through their organic hulls." Miller remembered the old videos from Earth's history classes, how nuclear weapons had once been humanity's greatest fear. Now they were considering these weapons primitive, like comparing a stone axe to a laser gun. "Time to exit hyperspace in 30 minutes, the ship's AI announced. The crew moved to their battle stations. Throughout the fleet, 500 ships prepared for war. Each vessel carried weapons that the rest of the galaxy thought impossible to build. Humanity had spent 15 years creating things that would make other races stare in disbelief. Message from Admiral Thompson, called out the communications officer. The Admiral's face appeared on the main screen. "Captains," Thompson said, his voice reaching every ship in the fleet. "In a few minutes, we'll show the galaxy why you don't attack human colonies. Remember your training. Remember why we built this fleet. And remember, we're not just fighting for those colonists. We're fighting to show everyone that humanity is not to be underestimated." Miller looked at his crew. They were ready. The simulations, the training, the years of preparation. It all came down to this moment. "Battle stations," he ordered. His voice was calm, but inside he felt the excitement building. "Prepare to exit hyperspace on Admiral's mark." The fleet moved through the swirling colors of hyperspace, carrying humanity's response to alien aggression. They had hidden their strength for 15 years. Now, it was time to show the galaxy exactly what humans could do when pushed too far. The swarm thought they were attacking helpless prey. They were about to learn that humans were anything but helpless. Lisa Walker hadn't slept in 20 hours. The intelligence officer's desk was covered with holographic displays showing enemy movements, attack patterns, and colony transmissions. As she studied the data, her eyes caught something interesting. "Admiral Thompson," she called through the ship's comm system. "I found something you need to see." 5 minutes later, Thompson stood in the intelligence center aboard the Thunderchild, watching as Lisa played back intercepted communications from the swarm fleet. "Look at their attack patterns," she said, pointing to a 3D display. "They always attack the same way, like a hammer hitting a nail. They've never needed to change their strategy because no one has ever fought back effectively. Thompson leaned closer to the display. "Show me." The hologram changed, showing hundreds of swarm ships moving in tight formations. They attacked like a swarm of angry insects, overwhelming their targets with pure numbers. But Lisa saw their weakness. "They have no real tactics," she explained. "No backup plans. They've won every battle because they were always stronger than their enemies, but they've never faced an enemy who could actually fight back." New data streamed in from the colony's automated defense systems. The swarm ships were tough but predictable. They didn't expect tricks or traps. They had never needed to. "There's more," Lisa said, pulling up another display. "Their ships are connected somehow. They share one mind, like insects in a hive. But that means one head to cut off," Thompson finished. His face showed a grim smile. In another part of the ship, the AI tactical system processed this information. It ran 10,000 simulations in the time it took a human to blink. The results were clear. The swarm's strength was also their biggest weakness. "Lieutenant Walker," Thompson said, "send this data to all ship commanders. Tell them to update their tactical systems." Throughout the fleet, crews received the new information. The swarm wasn't invincible. They weren't even particularly smart. They were just bullies who had never faced a real fight. "Sir," a young analyst called out, "new transmission from the colony." The message was broken and static-filled, but clear enough. "They're attacking the outer settlements first, moving in a straight line, no deviation from course, like they're following a preset pattern. Please hurry." Lisa's fingers flew over her control panel, adding this new data to their battle plans. The AI updated its simulations again. Victory chances increased by another 12%. "How many colonists?" Thompson asked quietly. 8,000 in the main settlement," Lisa answered. 2,000 in the outer areas. The swarm, they don't take prisoners, sir. Every colony they've attacked. No survivors." Thompson's face hardened. He had seen enough war to know what that meant, but he had also seen enough of humanity to know what would happen next. "Send word to medical," he ordered. "Tell them to prepare for survivors. We're not losing anyone today." Lisa nodded, but her attention was already back on the data. Something about the swarm's ship design caught her eye. Their organic hulls were tough, but they had never been tested against human weapons. Against quantum torpedoes and plasma cannons, they might not be so strong. "One more thing, Admiral," she said. "Their ships, they're not shielded against radiation. They've never needed to be. Our nuclear pulse engines alone might be enough to disrupt their formation." Thompson understood immediately. Every human ship's engine was also a weapon, if used correctly. The swarm was about to learn that humans had turned everything into a potential weapon. "How long until we reach the colony?" he asked. 30 minutes, sir," Lisa replied. "The swarm will reach the main settlement in 45. Thompson nodded. "Then we have time to do this right. Send the final attack plans to all ships. Let's show these aliens why humanity spent 15 years preparing for war." The fleet continued its journey through hyperspace, armed with knowledge that would turn the tide of battle. The swarm thought they were invincible. In less than an hour, they would learn just how wrong they were. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Proxima system. 500 ships appeared like ghosts in the darkness, their stealth systems making them nearly invisible against the stars. "Status report," Admiral Thompson commanded from the Thunderchild's bridge. "Ghost protocol holding steady," reported Officer Wilson. "Enemy fleet hasn't detected us yet." On the main screen, they could see the swarm ships. There were thousands of them, their organic-looking hulls gleaming dully in the light of Proxima's star. They moved like a cloud of locusts, destroying everything in their path. Mike Anderson, the tactical officer, studied his displays carefully. "Sir, I count 3,000 enemy ships. They're arranged in their standard attack pattern, just like intelligence predicted." Thompson nodded. The plan was working perfectly. The swarm could only see a small part of the human fleet, just 20 ships that they had allowed to be detected. To the enemy, it looked like a pathetically small rescue force. Colony status? Thompson asked. The outer settlements are gone, Mike reported grimly. But the main colony is still holding out. Their shields are at 40%. They've got maybe 20 minutes left. The bridge crew watched as the swarm ships moved toward the colony. They were taking their time, confident in their victory. They had no idea they were being surrounded. All ships, begin Phase 1, Thompson ordered. Move into position, but maintain ghost protocol. The human fleet split into 5 groups, each one moving to a predetermined position around the swarm fleet. Like a giant net closing around fish, they would trap the enemy when the time came. "Sir," called Lisa from her intelligence station, "we're picking up their communications. They're laughing at us. The ships they can see. They think we're stupid for sending such a small rescue force." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. Let them laugh. On the tactical display, red dots showed the swarm ships, while blue dots marked the hidden human fleet. The trap was almost ready. Years of preparation, of building ships in secret, of developing weapons no one thought possible. It would all pay off in the next few minutes. "Message from the colony," called the communications officer. "They're begging for help. Should we respond?" "Not yet," Thompson said. "Just a few more minutes. We need the swarm to commit fully to their attack." The enemy ships moved closer to the colony, their weapons charging. They had destroyed 3 civilizations the same way, and they expected this to be no different. "Sir," Mike called out, excitement in his voice. "They've taken the bait. The swarm command ship has moved to the center of their formation. They're completely surrounded." Thompson stood up from his command chair. Around him, the bridge crew tensed in anticipation. Everything they had trained for was about to happen. "All ships, prepare to disengage Ghost Protocol on my mark," he ordered. "Weapons stations, lock onto your designated targets. Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for." The swarm ships moved closer to the colony, their weapons beginning to fire at the weakening shields. They were completely focused on their prey, never suspecting that they were the ones being hunted. "Sir," Lisa reported, "colony shields at 20%. It's now or never." Thompson took a deep breath. In all of human history, there had never been a moment quite like this. They were about to show the galaxy that humanity was not to be underestimated. "All ships," he said, his voice calm and clear. "Execute Phase 2. Disengage Ghost Protocol. Weapons free. Show them what humanity can do." Throughout the human fleet, stealth systems began powering down. In the space around the swarm armada, hundreds of warships suddenly appeared, their weapons charged and ready. The enemy was about to learn that they had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't found easy prey. They had walked straight into humanity's trap. Space lit up like a new star being born. Where there had been empty darkness just moments before, hundreds of human warships now appeared. Their massive hulls reflected the light of Proxima's sun, weapons ready and aimed at the surprised swarm fleet. On board the swarm command ship, alarms screamed. Their sensors, which had detected only 20 small rescue ships moments ago, now showed enemy vessels everywhere. They were completely surrounded. "Enemy fleet is responding," Lisa reported from her station on the Thunderchild. Their communications just exploded with activity. They're panicking. "Sir." Admiral Thompson stood at the center of his bridge, watching as the trap closed perfectly. "Put me on broadcast to all channels," he ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves properly." Throughout the swarm fleet, on every communication channel, Thompson's voice rang out clear and strong. "This is Admiral James Thompson of the United Earth Defense Fleet. You attacked our colony. You killed our people. Now you'll learn why humanity spent 15 years preparing for war." The swarm ships began to move, trying to form their usual attack patterns. But they were too slow. The human fleet had positioned itself perfectly, using formations that had been practiced thousands of times in secret. "Sir," Mike called from tactical, "they're trying to call for reinforcements. Should we jam their signals?" "No," Thompson replied with a slight smile. "Let them call. Let the galaxy see what happens when someone attacks Earth's colonies." The Thunderchild's weapons officer, John Reed, reported from his station. "All ships report weapons locked on target. Quantum torpedoes armed. Plasma cannons charge. Point defense grid active." On the main screen, they could see the swarm ships moving frantically, like insects when their nest is disturbed. Their organic hulls pulsed with nervous energy as they realized they were trapped. "Enemy command ship is broadcasting," Lisa announced. "They're demanding our surrender." A harsh alien voice filled the bridge. "You dare challenge the swarm? We have destroyed 3 civilizations. Your tricks with hidden ships will not save you. Surrender now or be destroyed." Thompson's response was simple. "Show them our tricks." Throughout the human fleet, new systems came online. Technology that had been developed in secret, tested in hidden facilities, and perfected over 15 years, powered up for the first time in actual combat. The quantum communication network linked all 500 ships into one perfect fighting unit. Each captain could see exactly what the other saw, could react instantly to any threat. The AI tactical systems processed battle data faster than any organic mind could think. "Enemy ships are charging weapons," Mike reported calmly. "They're trying to break through our formation at Sector 7. "Just as predicted," Thompson nodded. "Execute containment pattern Alpha." Before the swarm could fire a single shot, the human fleet moved. Ships that were bigger and faster than anything the enemy had ever seen shifted positions with perfect coordination. Where the swarm tried to find a weakness, they found only more guns aimed at them. "Sir," Lisa called out, excitement in her voice, "we're picking up transmissions from other alien races. Word is spreading. They're watching us." Thompson straightened his uniform. This was the moment Earth had waited for. After 15 years of appearing weak, of letting other races think humans were just peaceful traders, they would show the galaxy their true strength. "All ships," he commanded, "power up main weapons. Let's show them what humanity can really do." The space around the human fleet began to distort as weapons of unimaginable power charged up. The swarm ships, trapped and surrounded, could only watch as their worst nightmare unfolded around them. They had come expecting to find helpless prey. Instead, they had found humanity's steel teeth, waiting in the dark. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The first shots of the battle lit up space like fireworks. Quantum torpedoes launched from the human fleet, their warheads twisting the very fabric of space as they flew. The swarm had never seen weapons like these before. They had no defense against them. Direct hits across their front line. Weapons Officer John Reed reported. "Their organic hulls are failing completely against quantum weapons." Admiral Thompson watched as the first wave of enemy ships broke apart. The swarm tried to respond, launching their own attacks, but they were too slow, too predictable. "Enemy firing missiles," Mike announced from tactical. 3,000 incoming. "Activate point defense grid," Thompson ordered calmly. Across the human fleet, automated defense systems came to life. Thousands of small laser turrets tracked the incoming missiles. In the space of 2 seconds, every single enemy missile vanished in balls of fire. "No hits," Mike reported with pride. "Point defense grid working at 100% efficiency." The swarm ships tried to regroup, to form their usual attack patterns. But the human fleet was ready. Every move the enemy made had been predicted by their tactical eye, practiced against in thousands of simulations. "Launch fighter squadrons," Thompson commanded. "Let's show them what our drones can do." From the larger human ships, swarms of unmanned fighters poured out. Each one was piloted by an AI that could react faster than any living pilot. They moved like a flock of deadly birds, weaving through enemy fire without taking a single hit. Drone squadrons engaging enemy ships, Reed reported. Their organic hulls can't handle our plasma weapons. On the main screen, they watched as the robotic fighters tore through the enemy fleet. The swarm's ships were tough, but they had never faced weapons designed specifically to counter their biological technology. "Sir," Lisa called out, "the enemy command ship is trying to coordinate a counterattack. They're ordering all ships to focus fire on the Thunderchild." Thompson smiled. "Exactly as planned. All ships, execute Maneuver Delta. Show them why we trained for 15 years." The human fleet moved like dancers in a perfectly choreographed performance. As 3,000 enemy ships turned to attack the Thunderchild, the human vessels shifted positions. Suddenly, the swarm command ship found itself exposed, cut off from its fleet. "Target their command ship," Thompson ordered. "All main batteries, fire." The Thunderchild's main guns fired. Beams of energy hotter than the surface of a star lanced out, cutting through the enemy command ship's defenses like they weren't even there. The massive alien vessel broke apart in a spectacular explosion. "Enemy command ship destroyed," Mike reported. "Their fleet network is collapsing. They've lost all coordination." Without their central control, the swarm ships began to move randomly, like headless insects. Some tried to flee, others continued to attack blindly. It didn't matter. The human fleet had them completely surrounded. "All ships, execute final attack pattern," Thompson commanded. "End this." 500 human ships fired at once. The space around Proxima B lit up brighter than its sun. Quantum torpedoes twisted space itself. Plasma beams cut through organic hulls, and AI-controlled fighters picked off any ships that tried to escape. "Enemy fleet status," Thompson asked after the last salvos faded. 2,000 enemy ships destroyed," Mike reported. "The rest are either disabled or trying to surrender." "Battle is over, sir. Total time elapsed, 8 minutes and 42 seconds. Thompson nodded. The battle had been shorter than even their simulations had predicted. 15 years of preparation had paid off better than anyone had expected. "Send word to the colony," he ordered. "Tell them they're safe now. And send this message to every alien communication channel in range. This is what happens when you attack humanity. Remember what you saw here today." The human fleet hung in space around the remnants of the swarm armada, their hulls barely scratched. In less than 10 minutes, they had destroyed an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy. Humanity had revealed its power, and the galaxy would never be the same. The sun rose over Proxima B's main colony, its light shining on the debris of battle scattered across space. Medical ships from the human fleet landed near the colony's central plaza, bringing help to the survivors. The colonists emerged from their bunkers to find not destruction, but victory. Admiral Thompson stood at the colony's observation deck, watching as recovery teams worked. Beside him, colony leader Peter Grant still seemed shocked by what had happened. "We thought we were done for," Grant said, shaking his head. "Then your fleet appeared out of nowhere. All those ships, all that power. How did Earth keep this secret for so long?" Thompson watched as a captured swarm ship was towed past the window. "We learned long ago that appearing weak while being strong is better than appearing strong while being weak." In orbit, research teams study the remains of the swarm fleet. The organic technology of their ships was advanced, but in many ways, it was also simple. They had never needed to develop better weapons or defenses because no one had ever fought back effectively. "Admiral," Lisa's voice came through his communicator. "You need to see what we found in their command ship's database." In the Thunderchild's intelligence center, Lisa showed Thompson the translated alien records. The swarm had destroyed 3 civilizations, but they weren't the unstoppable force they had pretended to be. They were bullies who had only attacked races they knew couldn't fight back. They had detailed files on every known civilization. Lisa explained. They ranked them by military strength. Earth was listed as harmless, primarily traders and explorers. She smiled. I guess we surprised them. Messages were pouring in from across the galaxy. Other alien races had watched the battle through their long-range sensors. The news spread quickly. Humanity, the quiet traders who had never shown any military power, had just destroyed the dreaded swarm in less than 10 minutes. Sir, Mike called from his station. The captured swarm ships are giving us interesting data. They got coordinates for their home system, their production facilities, everything. Thompson nodded. Send the data to Earth Command. But first, send this message to their home world. Your fleet is destroyed. Your invasion has failed. If you ever threaten another civilization again, what happened here will seem mild compared to our response. In the colony's medical center, human doctors treated the wounded with technology that amazed even their alien patients. The swarm had expected to find simple colonists. Instead, they found humans had medical technology far beyond anything they had seen. Message from Earth Command. Sir, the communications officer reported. They're declassifying our military program. The galaxy's diplomatic channels are exploding with activity. Everyone wants to talk to us now. Thompson wasn't surprised. The galaxy had just learned that humanity had built the most powerful fleet in known space while pretending to be simple traders. Every race would want to know how they did it and what it meant for the future. Tell Earth Command we'll head home soon, Thompson replied. But first, we're going to help rebuild this colony. Show everyone that we're not just good at fighting. We're good at protecting and building too. The fleet remained in orbit around Proxima b for the next week, helping rebuild what the swarm had destroyed. They left a permanent defense fleet behind, no longer hiding their military power. The days of pretending to be weak were over. As the Thunderchild prepared to return to Earth, Thompson looked one last time at the colony below. Humanity had kept its strength hidden for 15 years, building and preparing in secret. Now the galaxy knew their true power, but also their true nature. Not conquerors, but protectors. Set course for Earth, he ordered. It's time to show the galaxy who we really are. The human fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a changed galaxy. The story would be told for generations. How humanity revealed its power, how they destroyed an unstoppable enemy in minutes, and how they did it all to protect a single colony. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay.